Hello again, everyone. Melth here, with more of my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run, details of which, as usual, are in the YouTube video description. As usual, watch out for spoilers throughout this run. Now, this will be my first video since patch 8 came out. I just finished the party build video, and then all of a sudden, new patch comes out, new subclasses, lots of exciting things. But I don't think I can really redo many of my builds, because for one thing, I just finished doing all my summons, giving them all my elixirs and things like that, so if I respec someone to have a new build, I would not have the ability to give the summons the same things. And one of them is summoned with, for example, the Infernal Rapier, which wouldn't get restored without doing a long rest, which I can't do, and so forth. So I'll probably keep things the way they are. Which for everyone except for Minthara would be probably what I want them as anyway. I think that, Karlach is already pretty optimized for her job of being the AoE damage dealer, with being mostly Tempest Cleric and one level of Wizard. And, Astarion has his build all pretty much perfect at this point. So does my main character. New subclasses wouldn't really change anything for them. It would kind of for Minthara, just because, as I mentioned a couple of times, at the time I started this series, Spore Druid was really good in Act 3 because the Spore Keeper's armor was amazing. But then they nerfed it into the ground and made it basically useless, so the thing I was counting on making the build really good in Act 3 no longer exists. But I chose to stick it out and just, keep using a Spore Druid, and I guess I'll stick by that. I do think the new Star Druid would be superior, for what I'm doing here, no question about it, but I don't want to redo a bunch of summons that I can't replace all of and so forth.
They nearly had it too, before the Steel Watch intervened.
I'm looking for corpses right now, because I need to do my necromancy and get those summons ready to go too. But unfortunately we aren't allowed to go out there to where all the bodies are and just animate them. Oh well, I guess we'll respect the dead here. We'll have to go make some new corpses instead. So I plan to just basically start doing things out here in Rivington and then progress more or less linearly from Rivington to Worms Rock and so forth, then into Baldur's Gate. I did of course have to skip into Baldur's Gate to get a few camp scenes and things like that, but now that I'm doing Act 3 post all the camp scenes, I intend to do things more or less in the intended order. It feels fairer, rather than skipping to the most powerful items.
Caravan guards, not cattle wranglers. If you want us to get our hands dirty, it'd be our pleasure. But
so these guys are not just honest caravan guards, but are in fact members of the local thieves guild. I've just remembered. So Astarion is wielding the Strange Conduit Ring. Therefore, went him concentrating on a spell at all times. So I'll probably have him cast Protection from Evil and Good, just because it lasts all day and at least does, something.
How did you last so long without...
Some people recommend things like Hunter's Mark, but that is a pretty much worthless spell, 95% of the time. Protection from Evil and Good is more valuable. Anyway, so this is the beginning of a somewhat interesting quest involving fireworks and attempted murder of children and things like that. And it's hard to justify getting involved from a roleplay perspective right now, but I think if we happen to detect his thoughts with the potion that we had going already, that would give us an easier way to justify it.
I can't let them stay here. What if the little brat gets into the basement?
So now, of course, we're curious about the basement.
My basement? Oh, nothing interesting, just material.
Very convincing. You'd think we'd get the actual thoughts as he's thinking about it.
Some very valuable components in there.
We failed the insight about that? Really? It was transparent.
They damaged something.
Don't think it really changes anything.
Zenobia, people are lining up to break into my property. Do something about
Yeah, her line is probably about half a mile long with all these summons.
you and your high-quality merchandise on the road. And we've since arrived at our destination. As I said, anything else is extra.
This is the last time I...
And now he's willing to kill them now that he hears they're from the guild.
Fine. Here's the extra. Finish.
We just stand here and watch, I guess.
Now, please show this meddler some of that famous Rivington hospitality.
Alright, so, fighting these 4 thugs from the guild. They have an interesting kind of balanced party. Gleeful Klong over there is their heavy melee guy, and they've got, an archer and a nimble melee guy. And anyway, It's a fun little fight, but I think I've got what it takes to handle it. I'm going to start by trying to entangle these guys so we have advantage on our attacks against them. They're clustered up decently well, so my summons can get a... Oh, that guy's immune to it. Didn't know that. Summon should be able to do a pretty good job against them, I think. Let's fly over there and see if we can blind that guy. That's all set up so that the elementals, the Myrmidons that is, which have pretty low accuracy but powerful attacks, can have a go at them. There we go. We should have advantage against both of them now, so now our Ice Blast should be pretty devastating. I love the tactical fun of having lots of summons. It may be less like time efficient than just having one ultra guy that's like a Titan String Archer or whatever, or my Astarion with his double hand crosses just slaughter everything. But it is to me more interesting and fun. And probably about as powerful overall if you're just caring about winning fights with no damage taken or things like that, which is what I'm going for here. Alright, so we'll kill that guy there by activating our Invisibility and Bloodlust Elixir. Who's next? Gleeful Clong? Okay, so we take him out and that frees up the Air Elemental to act. Huh, Clong must have pretty good initiative to beat an Air Elemental. No. Oh, I guess he has his Barbarian boost. He must have rolled high and it rolled low, because it's got a solid +5 there from its dexterity. Okay. Well, this should be pretty easy from here, I think. No, not the melee one, the range one. Actually, what I should also do is put Karlach nearby. She's carrying the Resonance Stone currently. There we go. Now he's steeped in bliss. That means he takes double psychic damage, which Astarion does a little bit of. Oop, clicked the wrong one again. Sure, we'll sneak attack. Why not? That was a little stronger than I thought it would be. Astarion might have this one all on his own. We've got plenty of other powerful attackers ready to go. There we go. Alright, there's an Arthur. Let's talk to him and move things along.
You won! You won!
Being disguised as a gnome makes for all kinds of weird perspectives in these cutscenes. I still have to intimidate him after that? Crazy.
Well, with Zenobia and the others gone, I don't
The reason I'm disguised as a gnome, by the way, is to get the gloves that boost your dexterity only while you're disguised as a gnome. And as I mentioned before, dexterity is like the most important stat in the game because it determines many important skills, an important saving throw, your initiative, most important of all, and a couple other things too. We'll meet him again at the Shares Caress and follow up on that little questline here. Alright, well, we'll head on inside. I think we might talk to one of the oxen nearby here. Which reminds me, of course, because I killed the strange ox back in Act 1, I guess. It isn't here delivered to the city, but that's pretty boring anyway. You just go into the city, and it's done.
Sweetness should be shared.
As always, I do love the personalities they gave to the animals and things like that. No longer have throwing builds, but don't really care about some of those items he has.
You'll be in a big...
What are you calling this?
I've got like infinite money, but I'm still looting things.
Still alive.
Alright, I'm just going to drag a few of the bodies together in one place. Alright, so I think I'll go for skeletons here. We'll go for the triple skeleton combo. We're waiting to cast Aid for once we have the entire complement of people together.
Hey, good looking.
Likewise, Karlach will have a couple more summons herself when she gets to next level. So after that, we'll then do Aid to boost everyone. I think we'll have the skeletons drink some heroism elixirs. They can use the accuracy boost, they've got decent damage when they do hit. And their initiative is not awful, so they don't really desperately need a vigilance elixir. There we are. Alright, let's go in and meet the family that we just helped out, as well as investigate, of course, the mysterious basement.
Not quite sure why you stood up for us like that.
but I won't say I'm not grateful.
You know, just the random junk we found in the treasure chest buried outside the city should be enough to house a whole bunch of refugees.
You're the first person in this city to have our...
Surprised that the noble background approves of this rather than disapproving of helping the poor people at the expense of the rich guy. Fire Ember, how interesting. I think we better make sure this house is safe for the refugees.
Anything of use?
A diamond. That could be dangerous to them, we better take it. Now, this basement area, I believe, has a lot of traps in it. So it might be easier to have someone who doesn't have a million summons go into it. On the other hand, the main character can fly, which is a great way to bypass traps too. So I might detach him and have him go in on his own. I think that'll force him to bring the summons even though I've detached them. But I don't think they'll be setting off any tripwires immediately. I did have problems later on in Act 3, my first time through. Oh no, Scratch is a liability sometimes. Alright, we're okay this time. But yeah. Sometimes you can have some problems with popping into a new area and having it immediately set up a bunch of traps because of where your summons are placed. Flight is very useful. I remember this place just kind of being tedious to get through on my first run. Too many traps to disarm. If I had a star in here for this, it'd be easier, but I also have 35 thieves tools, so I think we're going to be okay. So, clues now pointing to Falogers, but we'll also find out that he's booby-trapping, teddy bears to kill children.
Checking off donations.
A little odd they're called teddy bears if you think about it. I believe the phrase teddy bear comes partly from Teddy Roosevelt. Let's see, can I just fly back over there, skipping everything? I'm gonna try it. I will assume that in character we safely disarm all these gajillion traps, but out of character I do not want to do that many d20 rolls to just deal with everything one at a time.
All is ash and meat.
Perhaps we can warn them also about the basement so they know to keep an eye
I
out.
like being cooped up inside.
Okay, looks like there's actually no dialogue to do that. Oh.
Good thing you sorted that out. I was this close.
Alright, let's see if we can find his journal, which I think tells us a little more. You know what's faster than lockpicking? There we go. Okay, that's not quite as relevant as I thought it would be. Of course a mustache has to be mentioned after the facial hair that guy was sporting. Okay, well, I think we'll have a quest marker pointing to... I thought we'd have a quest marker pointing to the next area of the quest, but apparently not. I think it's in here, though. Alright, so here's one of the many parts of the plotline about people in the city not wanting to be welcoming to the refugees that are streaming into the city, which is part of Wartress's plan to inflame tensions, I believe.
Baldurians! Stand with me against this tide that threatens to overwhelm us!
Please just go home. You're ruining a perfectly uneventful posting with this nonsense.
The Flaming Fists are supposed to protect this good city, but they allow trash and vermin to take our homes and... Oh. Another visitor, I see. Listen, we keep letting the light...
You know, I admit, this is one weird-looking gnome. I wouldn't want to let him into the city either. I love this dialogue line.
Excuse me? Born inside the city walls, a Baldurian through and through. Wherever you're from, clearly they don't teach manners.
Oh, God. Go talk to Nestor if you must.
We've already dealt with Droger. A great merchant if you don't have Shadowheart with you. Okay, well, let's go over there. We can talk to a couple of our friends from the Tiefling group, and then we can maybe talk to this guy and advance the quest about the booby trap toys.
Saucer-like. I didn't realize Baldur's Gate was so big. Dangerous? Oh, it's a gold mine. So many pockets to pick.
Sorry, and of course, this proves to be warning the kid to watch out for monsters like him in the city.
Thanks. And you're in luck, because we're having a special sale on some of the choice...
I forget what Mattis has for sale here.
Fancy stuff. Wanna see? Would I try to fool a sharpie like you? Have a look.
Yeah, we'll be happy to take that. I mean, that's not a bad hat, but we don't have anyone who is in melee, because melee is usually pretty bad. Ah, I remember this item now. Yeah, this is a decent one. Boosting your flying speed is quite nice. I mean, flying is easy to come by now with the illithid powers and so forth, among other things. And speed boosts are always really good. But I don't think I have need for it, probably. I've got other ways to boost speed.
Stay away from trap.
Yeah, that's good advice. Oh, where did the other kid go? Oh, they're chasing after the bird. Okay. They're remarking only about the feathers, not about the giant elemental creatures and things like that.
To be saved right now.
All right. Was the man up the one to talk to? You can see I've only played Act 3 through like 1.5 times.
Very funny. You can make a donation to the refugees. Or you can...
There we go. I don't know why I didn't have a quest marker for this, but there we go.
I'm gonna let you through because I don't want to take any risks.
Sensible fellow.
Better not be lying.
Somewhere around here we'll find it.
There's been a report of dangerous contraband in the donations, and we're going to check it out.
That looks like a teddy bear. We failed the investigation, though.
Hello, you wicked little thing.
You were right. Explosives. Now give me some room. I need to make sure the rest of these donations are safe. You try and find whoever is responsible for this.
Should be able to just put the word out and have him arrested, I would think, but oh well. We will go and beat him up ourselves, I guess. And over here is a refugee camp. I think you'll find some other tiefling kids around here, but I am trying to remember things from when I last played quite a while ago. There's also a windmill around here, I think, that has a Mindflayer hidden in it. I'll probably go there at some point.
Heads will roll for this transgression.
I must assume this is something stupid he's talking about.
I don't give a shit about all that. It's how I've been treated, which is the real travesty. A perfectly respectable businessman wants to bring his, well, business into this fine city. And what do? They talk some absolute horse bollocks about papers and correct filing procedures and threw me in this slum. I should be loins deep in Sharess's caress by now, not waddling about in filth.
Yeah, okay. I also think I'll find somewhere around here the Gur camp, as I recollect. I don't know exactly where to look for those things.
Actually got here safely.
There's so many people to talk to. I probably can't talk to absolutely everyone. Let me know if I'm missing anyone that has a quest or an interesting battle or things like that. But I think I remember the outlines of the big stuff to do.
I'm
really worried about Umi.
I forget which one that is.
So, you survived. That's more than many.
Yeah, I don't know how you got here. You weren't in Act 2.
It's mainly anger that keeps me going. Zevlor was supposed to lead us.
I guess he was present for that disaster.
I haven't seen him since the massacre on the road, which is lucky for him.
We found him in the Mindflayer colony, of course, and set him free.
Sad situation. The once proud tieflings of Elturel, reduced to beggars.
Well, it's been some ups and downs, right? Better than living in the hells.
Twice. I know now that as long as Danis and I stick together, we can do anything.
We made it alive to Baldur's Gate.
I do like those two. Alright. This person can sometimes be a disguised Orin.
Thought I would have noticed some explosive...
I don't think that he will be right now because Orin's already done the kidnapping in the course of all the various camp scenes. But, as usual, Orin does a terrible, terrible job of disguise and just starts ranting insanely about murdering refugees and things like that, and so... Oh, here's Umi, the one that the other one was worried about.
They got me signed up to learn to make pots, which is dumb. I'd rather learn how to kill cultists. And I bet you'd back me up on that.
Yep, start going to music school, and in about 10 years you'll be ready for it, I think. At least that's the Bard way of doing things. Dead chicken. I forget what's going on up here.
Bloody keepers, I say.
We got here first.
Okay, they're looting this wagon. 2 thumbs. That's... Yeah, that's the standard number of thumbs. Where's that windmill? There, that looks like the windmill area that would have the hidden Mindflayer in it. And this was like the Grur camp. Okay, I'll check this out and get their quest about...
Something over there.
Can you ever have too much treasure? Probably yes, but oh well.
If won't get us fed and watered.
So much gold. A fortune that we could give to people, but there's no option to really do that.
And they are stronger than ever.
As long as we stand together.
Rechtei Hathran Rust. Frey Valdisk Durovna. Frey Vald Iskablast.
You recognize the funeral rites of the Gur people, the same monster hunters you met in the Hag Swamp. Their leader is burning the possessions of those who have fallen.
Im Orak. Nete. Krasin. Netra.
I appreciate when they use non-Latin, actually fictional languages for things.
Spawn walks among us.
It is so weird to be a gnome and be looking up at everyone. Tempting to say that, but...
The last time your friend came to our camp, he stole our children, our future. When we sent Gandrel after you, we wanted to interrogate you, to discover how to save our children, and then destroy you.
Sounds reasonable.
But things have changed. You have changed. Is it true you left your master? That you broke the spell that binds you to him?
Well, I mean, kind of.
Sarin is really, really not very smooth for someone who's supposedly a charlatan and supposedly super charming.
We are not. But perhaps we can give you a chance to do deeds just as worthy of song. We have tried to save our children once already, attacking Khazad-dûr'Zar's palace at first light. Even then, it was too well But if his own spawn approached, someone he thought...
The problem is he actually can control him, which is like an obvious hazard.
And once inside...
Also, that doesn't happen. We just have to storm in and fight through everything.
...could save the children you damned.
Now this seems silly. There's no way we're in time to save them. That makes no sense whatsoever.
He's merciless. You want me to march into the lion's den and save your
children? Yeah, this is like one rare time when Ballista would actually agree with Astarion. Of course, we should go in there to kill Cazador, but if we're smart, we wouldn't bring Astarion for that. I think Ballista's gonna say, like, it's too late, but also we'll go in there and kill him off at some point.
If our children are truly gone, then we ask for blood. I know you can understand that, Spawn.
I suppose. Yes. Yes. Revenge, I can do.
Thank you. From me and all my people.
Surprisingly reasonable from Astarion there.
In your debt. You have lived a life of violence and sin. You have stolen lives, broken families, and caused immeasurable grief. Doing this will not right.
Darned right.
If you're trying to encourage me, you're failing abysmally.
But it will be a start.
Now, there's no redemption for vampires. That's not a thing. Vampires are not their original selves in this setting. And they can't be restored to their original selves unless you just kill them and revive them, and then they're fine. That's the right way to help Astarion. That's what Ballista plans to do at the appropriate time. Are any of these guys merchants or anything like that? He doesn't like that talk about purging something vague at the heart of the city from these people that are not terribly well positioned to know what that would be.
Children.
Our dead fought well. They died.
I pray you will succeed.
Yes, every last vampire parasite.
To lose our children is a tragedy. Ulmer insists the tribe is not cursed, but I have my doubts.
Okay, your doubts are pretty silly.
We are begging help from you. And outside.
Okay, I've had enough of these guys. Alright. I guess we'll help them despite their bad attitude. Nice little picnic over here near where the Mindflayer's hanging out.
Fine day for it, eh? Got to enjoy things while they last, I suppose.
Sensible. Alright.
Let's see what this does.
Oh, hey, a cat. Or, no. A non-interactable one. Okay. I could have Astarion do this, he's better at it, but that involves more clicks. And as long as the DC is below like 20 or so, it's probably faster to just have Ballista do it. Final warning, and a sleepy Mindflayer over there.
Before you lies the unconscious body of a Mindflayer, glistening and raw.
A newborn.
The game really goes back and forth about whether newborn Mindflayers are suddenly at full power, which they shouldn't be lore-wise. They take time to grow up and learn things, or whether they're weak and so forth, which would make more sense. I guess for battle's sake, we'll wake the thing up. Not that it's anything near a match for this kind of party.
Come no closer, you. What are you?
You think that, given that's under the Absolute's control or whatever, and understand everything.
Like I was. A vessel yet to transform.
This one is newly changed. Its body is weak. Its potential ripe for harvesting.
Sounds reasonable.
Kill it.
You can also bring it a brain for some reason. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that.
Did before.
Help me. I am so hungry.
I didn't hear any screaming.
You would betray us? Then you shall be our very first meal.
Use that 20 in and realize you're not going to win this. Oh, now he's suddenly at full power. Okay. Yeah. One thing that I don't love about 5e compared to 3.5 and so forth is that, and that applies to this game too, which uses the same rules. You know, in 3.5, monsters play by the same rules that, you know, people did. They had levels, basically, and their constitution increased their hit points per level, and so if you lower the constitution, it lowered their hit points in a logical way. This guy's constitution being terrible, though, does not lower his hit points. He stays at 92. That is just the tiniest symptom of the overall, I think, problem that makes 5e feel much less like your characters are people in a world and more like they are avatars in a video game that have completely different rules and could never be like the people around them that they encounter.
Its mind is still free.
Okay, so that functions like a parasite, I think.
If you consume it.
I don't think that's really worth much to me.
Light on my feet.
Alright, well, new Mindflayer powers are often interesting. This one is amazing if you're not playing on honor difficulty, but of course I am playing on honor difficulty, so it's actually quite terrible. It gives AoE haste, which would still be really good, but it's kind of a buggy AoE haste, where if you leave it, it like eats not just the bonus action that it gave to you, and I say bonus action in the sense of an extra main action, rather than the 5e term bonus action. It takes away your actual action from you, among other issues, so it's not as good as it should be. Mind Blast is pretty useful once in a while. Free Cast could be good too if I build up to it. I guess I could take this to unlock that. That's probably more valuable than Shield the Thralls. I might find some use for it. Just need to be very careful with the positioning so I don't actually leave it and lose everything. Alright, I think that's about all there is here. Let's exit this place.
Just to put my hands on everything.
And I think next time we'll pick up some of the bigger quest lines like the one over at the monastery nearby. Since I believe I've explored down there to where the gnome's hideout is already. So there's not too much else to discover here that I'm aware of. I might also do the quest next time about the circus with the absolute cult there. Oh, I think there's also people hidden in the well nearby. That's coming back to me now. Well, looking forward to that. Thank you for watching, everyone, and a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, the Irreverent Reverend, Master Knight DH, Jackie, Enlino, Travis, Andrew Curzon, Troobsy, Oliver, Cronish, Jago, DK in DK, Gregory, Broken Box, Jenna M, Just Becca, Jack, Marcus the Carcass, Nubiana, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Frederick Brune, Robin, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Mina, Ali Kasamoglu, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Emp Ninjas, Preben A, Chupatar, Diabetic Cat, Marvin Fang, Max, Afro Zamurai, Step Back Too Deadly, Lodestone, Big Mars, Brad, IJ23, Rodrigo Lopez Dato, Kevin Ditchide, Silent, Eldritch, Jake Watson, and a name that starts with sword emojis. Have a great day, everyone.